Dude. This is so weird. What's up, YouTube? This is your boy John from Project Ellsworth, and I am back with you today to give you my review of the 1981 film Halloween 2. Stop. Come on. Halloween 2 was written by John Carpenter and Deborah Hill. It was directed by Rick Rosenthal, starring Donald Pleasence, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Dick Warlock as the Shape.
Halloween 2.
So Halloween 2 literally begins where Halloween 1 ended. It begins with clips from the ending of Halloween 1978, or Part 1, and then it immediately picks up where that one left off. You see Michael fall backwards off of the balcony, and then you see Loomis come out into the backyard, and Michael's gone. There's an imprint of Michael laying in the grass, or where Michael was laying in the grass. He puts his hand down, holds it up, bloody fingers, but Michael's gone. Next you see Michael kind of peering from beyond the side of the house, from the back of the house, looking around the front, and you see Loomis yelling that he shot him 6 times, that he's not human. I don't know where he went, but I shot him 6 times. He says that 3 or 4 times.
I shot him 6 times. I shot him 6 times. I shot him in the heart. Can't have gotten very far. Come on. I shot him 6 times.
Yeah, we get the point. I'm still trying to figure out how you survived that. Then you see Loomis jump in this cop car and they take off. Immediately after he takes off, Michael backs up, turns around, and walks to a neighbor's house. You see him peering in the window at a woman. She's getting ready to cut up some ham, or I believe that was ham, and she hears something on the news in the other room. She leaves her knife on the cutting board. Well, isn't that handy? And then you see Michael making his way into the kitchen to grab that knife. And then we get one of my favorite shots in this entire movie. You see this woman standing in the doorway of her kitchen, and between her kitchen and her living room, looking at the TV, listening to the news, where it is discussing that there have been 3 girls found dead in Haddonfield and the killer is on the loose. But the cool scene here is the woman standing in the doorway, and you see Michael standing behind her just looking at her. Stop! Fortunately for her, he doesn't kill her. He just takes a knife and bolts out the door. He immediately takes that knife, goes next door to that lady's house, finds a woman who's in the house alone, and kills her. Old habits die hard. Shortly thereafter, we see that Laurie has been taken to Haddonfield Memorial Hospital. The vast majority of this movie takes place in this hospital. You see her in there. She's been cut up a little bit. The doctor's trying to put her to sleep. She's trying not to go to sleep, begging, don't put me to sleep, don't knock me out. She wants to obviously remain awake and alert. Ultimately, she needs to be coherent just in case this schmuck comes back to try and get her again. So now you have Dr. Loomis looking for Michael Myers. You have Michael Myers looking for Laurie Strode. You have Laurie Strode just simply trying to survive. And all of this ultimately comes to a head at Haddonfield Memorial Hospital. You're a real jerk, you know that? For me, this might be the scariest movie in this entire franchise. It may not be my favorite movie in the franchise, but it definitely scared me more than any other of the movies did. The tension that's built in this movie is pretty spectacular. All of it building toward the ending of this movie. And then there are a couple scenes toward the end of the movie that are just, it makes the tension rise inside of you. There's a scene where Laurie she makes her way out of the hospital and she's hiding in a car. And she's hiding in this car and she's looking back at the hospital, and then it flashes back to her. She's just waiting for Michael to come out of the hospital. And as simple as that sounds, the tension that is being built while this is taking place is just fantastic. there are also several what I consider to be of the most legendary scenes or kills in the entire franchise take place in this movie. There's a scene where Michael is just walking forward to go into the hospital and he walks through a glass door. This is the movie where the girl gets picked up off of the ground with the scalpel, the nurse, and her shoes fall off from, after he picks her up. And this is also the movie that has the hot tub scene in it, which is one of the more brutal kills in the entire franchise. Takes place in the 1981 sequel to Halloween. I just think that there's a lot in this movie. Dick Warlock was fantastic as Michael Myers in this movie. Moved very slow, arms straight down. Just the way that he carried himself in this movie, it was just creepy. The mask in this movie, although it looks different, isn't different at all. It actually is the same exact mask from the original 1981 film. But over the years, I would have never believed that. But over the years, I've read and I've seen things from John Carpenter, Deborah Hill, Rick Rosenthal, Dick Warlock, all talking about this mask. The reason that this mask looks different is it was actually thrown under Deborah Hill's bed after the first movie was made, and she was a heavy smoker. So the hair was matted, the mask itself, the rubber was discolored, and it like stained from cigarettes. So as strange as that is, I think that's a pretty cool story as to why that mask looks so different, when in fact it isn't different at all. It's the same mask. It had just been worn out and aged because of cigarette smoke. But in this movie, the acting was just top-notch. Jamie Lee Curtis shined as Laurie Strode in this movie. Donald Pleasence was fantastic, again, as Dr. Loomis in this movie. Like I touched on before, Dick Warlock did an amazing job as the Shape in this movie. All of the B characters and side characters in the movie were great. The twist in this movie with the whole family connection, I guess I get it, and I understand why they did it. And that directly spawned what turned out to be a main storyline in Halloween 4 and 5 and 6 and 7, and 8, I guess, technically. So it slung the whole franchise off in a different direction, which in hindsight, now that Halloween 2018 came out, it really wasn't necessary. It didn't need to go in that direction. But for the story to play out the way that it did for all of those years, for the vast majority of this franchise, I guess it had to. I prefer it not being there, but that's easy to say now that we have that 2018 movie and what was supposed to be the 2020 movie, which now hopefully will be 21, and then 22. I don't know. The whole family connection is just weird to me. I liked it more when Michael was just trying to kill Laurie Strode because she happened to be the girl who walked up on the porch that day. To me, that makes him scarier. That takes the human element out of it. Him being the long-lost brother of a girl who was adopted, just, it's weird to me. I would prefer there be no family connection, and he's just trying to kill this girl because she was there. That makes it more sinister for me. But that does not take away from the fact that this is one hell of a good movie, one of the better films in the franchise. It was an incredibly scary experience, a viewing experience for me when I saw it, and it still is. When I watch this movie to this day, I watch this movie today. When I watch this movie, I still feel that tension build up when you get towards the end of this movie. Several things take place in the first 3/4 of this movie, building towards the end of it. And once you get to that final act and that final quarter of this movie, just the tension is crazy. The buildup is unbelievable. It's just a very, very well made movie, and I absolutely love Halloween 2. So how did you guys feel about that whole brother and sister twist? Let me know down in the comments whether you like it or you don't. I'm very curious to see how, what the majority thinks here. So that's it. That's my review of Halloween 2. If you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you really enjoyed this video and you've been enjoying my content up to this point, please do me a huge favor. Click that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Have a kick-ass day. And thank you for watching. Later, folks.